Hello, hello, and welcome to the Pink Moon Cleanse Preparation webinar. My name is Erin Fugate, and I'm so happy to be with all of you. Before we dive into the presentation, I'm going to invite all of us to arrive here. So if you have an oil, if you have an essential oil, please grab it. If you don't, I'm virtually sending you the energetic frequency of Clary Sage, because that's the oil that wanted to be with me tonight. Clary Sage opens up your intuitive pathways. It's definitely the feminine oil. It's one that I use when I'm menstruating and I'm having cramps. It's one that I use when I want to do divination work and I'm pulling my oracle cards. It's one I use before bedtime if I want really vivid dreams. So if you have it, just put a drop in your hand. Any oil will do. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths that allow us to be here now. On the first inhale, just allow your breath to travel through every cell of your body, noticing the aroma you smell. On the second breath, allow your breath to travel through your mind. As you exhale, let those extra thoughts go. Let's just take an hour and not worry about anything. Let's take an hour to set aside our to-do lists, to set aside our fears, our worries, and be here with one another. On that final breath, an inhale, connect into your heart space, even place your hands over your heart, and bring your whole being to this moment. Collect all the bits of you that you've maybe left at work, with your kids, with your partner, at the grocery store, in bed this morning. Bring all of you to this moment with all these beautiful souls. If you're listening to the replay, we love you and we presence you and we know that you're here with us as well. And for all of you that made time to be live tonight, thank you. And thank yourself for carving that time out. So I'm going to pull up our presentation. While I'm doing that, please introduce yourself in the chat. Tell us where you're tuning in from, who invited you to the Pink Moon Cleanse, anything fun or quirky or silly that you want to tell us about you. We're going to be in this container for over a month, about a month and 10 days. And I hope that we get to know each other. We have our Facebook group where we can be connecting and we'll have multiple opportunities to jump on Zoom. So let's make connections. Where do you live? And maybe there's someone on here that lives by you and you can go have a cup of tea during the cleanse. So this is the Pink Moon Cleanse. Welcome, yay! We cleanse every year as a community. And this year, Contessa Beth, who I'll be introducing soon, and Sandra Freeman, and myself, Erin Fugate, we came together and we wanted to cleanse. And we started to mastermind and vision this way of cleansing in line with the natural cycles of the moon. And there was born the Pink Moon Cleanse. So this is a full mind, body, spirit cleanse. We will be talking to you about nutrition, about herbs, about oils, about supplementation, but we'll also be talking to you about mindset, spiritual connection, and we'll be using the moon and the stars and astrology, oracle decks, journaling, sound healing, so much goodness and yumminess. I'm thrilled for this. You do want to mark the dates on your calendar that although this is only the 20th of March, happy spring, happy equinox, happy new moon, our actual cleanse will start April 6th, meaning that's when we'll start ingesting herbs and oils and maybe letting go of coffee or alcohol or sugar or gluten, whatever you decide you're going to cleanse. Technology. The month will actually be April 6th to May 5th. And Contessa is going to explain a bit about why we chose those dates, and you'll hear about all of this. So without further ado, I would like to introduce my very dear friend, Contessa Beth. She lives in Brooklyn, New York, but she is definitely a floating root, as she will call herself, meaning bouncing from coast to coast, continent to continent. We met in the Los Angeles Cirque scene. We were both artists, dancers, travelers, fairies, and we fell in love with oils at the same time. So since 2008, Contessa and I have been learning and growing our knowledge of essential oils together. And she has gone and expanded her knowledge into the areas of the plants and the herbs and the magical, mystical realms of astrology and beyond. So Contessa is going to take it from here. It's all yours. Just tell me when you want me to switch the slide. And unmute yourself. Still muted.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's go ahead. So I think as we were building this cleanse, we had even more foresight into why we wanted to cleanse. And we certainly, as we've been building it and trying to put things together, answering our own whys as we want to do this before we share it to the whole group. And we had this slide the last Zoom we had, so we're just going to go by it quickly, but it's so important. If you haven't already, and if you do have a journal nearby or a phone or anywhere you take notes down, you might want to pull that in with a pen or something as we go through this, because there will be lots of kind of thought bubbles you might want to write down. But start thinking about, most of all, why you are interested in cleansing, and start thinking about it now, because as you walk through your life from today to when we start the cleanse on April 6th, it's probably going to change or be added to, or you're going to have major realizations of what you really need down the road. But answering your why you want to cleanse is so, so important. It's going to give you focus, and change can be really difficult. And so you want to give yourself as many tools and opportunity and time and space to figure out your why and commit to your why. And
hear it in the chat, if people would put in the chat why you want to cleanse. What are you thinking of cleansing?
Thank you. Yes. And especially, this is such a great time to be doing this, particularly as we are focusing on moon phases. We are going into a new moon tomorrow, and new moons are just a fantastic time for planting seeds in the dark moon. And so you really want to plant your why seed and let it grow for a while. Let it hang out in the dark. Let it see what it needs to see, feel what it needs to feel. And over these next 20 days, it might start to grow, or maybe your detox will be the time when it starts to be given life. But that's kind of why we're aligning this with the spring equinox and the full moons, is because we want to grow and wax and wane with the phases of the moon. And we have a great, as part of our cleanse, and I'll talk about the schedule later on, but one way you can start, if you're having a hard time figuring out your why or where to begin to explore it, one of our presenters, Amanda Pitt, has put a really great oracle reading link on the Facebook page. So you can go there, and she asks some great questions, and you get to pull some oracle cards, which could help you figure out your why for this cleanse. So already there's stuff happening on the Facebook page, so make sure you head over there. Yeah, next slide. So it was really important to us, although a bunch of us are doing the doTERRA cleanse products as we do this cleanse on a nutritional level, we want to make sure that this cleanse is open to anybody and everybody doing a cleanse in any way that they feel is appropriate for them. And there are 3 different pathways of cleansing, most being diet and nutrition are probably the most popular ways when people think of a cleanse. But we want to include in that lifestyle changes. So even if you don't feel like you have the opportunity, or it's not the right time to be changing your nutrition or doing huge sweeping changes to your diet, there might be something in your lifestyle that needs to change that will help you unlock, move forward, keep flowing. And so You can choose all three of these options, one of these options, a little portion of one of these options. We are here as a community to support any and all ways that any of us are entering into this cleanse. Secondly, a lot of us are using the Lifelong Vitality supplements and the Cleanse and Restore kit that doTERRA supplies. So the Lifelong Vitality is just a nutritional supplement way of integrating nutrition back into your life. And then the Cleanse and Restore kit is really made for cleansing out the physical system as well, because we're using oils and herbs. We're also cleansing our emotional system, our mental system, and our physical system. So you can choose any of these, little bits of them, all three of them, even like finding your own ways of cleansing. And if you want to put that in the chat as well, if you have already figured out what parts or what pathways you want to use in this cleanse, post those in the chat.
And Contessa, I think this was talked about right before we started recording. I'd love to mention it quickly. If this is your first time cleansing, understand that it is a process of layering year after year after year. So you might be on one spectrum, wanting to get to the other, and having patience with yourself, just like you would a baby tree. Imagine what it's like to plant a baby redwood tree. You would never expect it to become that magnificent ancient tree overnight or within 30 days. And I think it's the same for all of us. So if you might be starting at, I think it's time for me to let go of alcohol for 30 days, start there. Or maybe it's just time for you to add in some more vegetables. We'll talk about that more, but just that idea that personally, I've been cleansing for 14 years, every year, sometimes 3 times a year. And what I was saying at the beginning is my first cleanse, I was on drugs, I was drinking alcohol, and I had a 3 Red Bull a day addiction. So to see where I've come from 14 years ago to now, knowing that it's a process that layers, and that's okay. So we honor you and love you wherever you are at on this cleanse, and really trust your own intuition of what you're ready to approach.
Absolutely. These 3 pathways are absolutely a journey. And we're here to support the community in whatever way and whatever part of that journey you are on. Absolutely. And next, I want to introduce Sandra Freeman, who has been 40 plus years with hands-on energy medicine and working with the intelligence found in nature. She is a practitioner and a coach. And if you want to learn more from her or find out more from her, she will be presenting throughout the cleanse. She will be providing many Q&As in case anybody has questions along the way. You can go to her website, sandrafreeman.life. sandrafreeman.life, and read more about her and find everything that she has to offer there. So Sandra Freeman.
Thank you, Beth. It's really an honor to be invited to collaborate with what we're doing. And I just briefly want to mention that although today there will be a certain amount of emphasis on the nutrition aspect of a cleanse, it is certainly only one. And so while you're with us today and thinking about you, what are your priorities? Some of you have already put that in the chat. How would you feel if you had a transformation in one of these areas in your life? So there's nutrition, there's movement and metabolism, there's rest and manage stress, and there is reducing toxicity. And all of these have many facets to them. So how would you feel if you had a transformation in one of these areas? You might want to write this in the chat, but also if you're taking notes right now to think about what you're doing as we take this journey, how would your life be different if you had that transformation? Oh, I can't change the slides. Next slide, please. I forgot. So I mentioned these aspects of wellness, and I really wanted to emphasize that the work we do in any one of these pillars or foundations of wellness touch and affect all the others. So, for example, if you're not getting good sleep already, and it's actually a problem in your life, and you start a cleanse, not getting enough rest is going to make the cleanse really hard. And so, even though maybe we're going to talk about nutrition a lot, maybe a starting place is to get more balance in the stress and sleep area to have a successful cleanse. Another example would be movement. So no matter, maybe your body is really telling you you need to move more, and it seems impossible to figure out how to fit that in. But your overall stress level and mood and ability to rest is really connected to movement. Then starting with that area, as an entry point for the journey might make a lot of sense to you. So all of these spheres, when we make positive changes in any one of these spheres, all of these spheres respond and benefit from it. Next slide, please. I'm going to talk about some really fundamental and hopefully not controversial aspects of the cleanse process, and one of them is hydration. It's so fundamental that I feel like it's the bottom line, most important aspect of nutrition. And this list on the slide is really just a few bullet points of the many, many, many benefits of getting adequate hydration. Hydration supports so many functions in the body in so many ways. But I will just say right now that if you're not getting adequate hydration and you're starting a cleanse, that could make the cleanse very difficult as well. Next slide, please.
Oh, there was one thing I wanted to tune in here about.
Great.
And it was, I agree, hydration is so important. In fact, if I'm not feeling well, I go have a glass of water and it'll oftentimes fix a headache. It'll oftentimes fix hunger, a stomach ache. It'll often fix that I'm tired. It's just beautiful. Hydration is beautiful. Then you add the essential oils in, which is part of our cleanse. You're going to be putting oils in your water. However, if you turn on your tap and you drink the water out of your tap, you are very, very likely re-toxifying your body, depending on where you live. So I would like to add here that if you don't already have a filtration process for your water, that be your first stop. And if that's all you can do on this cleanse, for whatever reason, finances or a big change like filtering your water, do that. Because I think, Sandra, you said something that my husband, who's also your son, said. What was it? I loved what you said.
Oh, it's one, I forgot we were going to talk about this more. I was like, oh, we got to get this in within an hour. You either use a water filter or your body is the water filter.
Yes. So water filters, you can go and buy a Brita, which is probably the cheapest. It's not going to filter out that much, but it's better than turning on the tap. You can buy a Berkey, which is a little bit better and a little higher end, or you can go to the extreme of like a Kangen or many different water purifying technologies. So feel free to ask in the Facebook group if you need advice. Sandra actually knows of a great filtration process, so you can reach out to her about that. But please, I just implore you, drink, not only drinking your water, but please drink pure filtered water as well. And one little hack that I always have is I put Celtic salt in my water so that I'm remineralizing and helping to get those great minerals in.
Yes, this is, there are also, it depends on what city you live in, but some cities and towns have a water store. So if you are not ready to purchase a water filter for whatever reason, see if there's a water store, because that can be a great resource. Yes, you have to drive there and need containers, but it's another possibility. And it having really high quality filtered water is going to make a big difference. It tastes so much better, and it will make your cleanse be way more enjoyable for sure.
And Bernice pointed out something so important in the chat. Pure water means not out of a plastic bottle. So I know how easy it can be to buy our water from the store, and certainly when I'm traveling, I have to do that. But let's look for water out of the tap, filtered, and then put into a glass or stainless steel container, especially when we're using essential oils. We never want to put essential oils in our water and then put it in plastic, because the essential oils would leach the chemicals out of the plastic. So many great tips in the chat. Thank you, everyone, for all of that. We love this community and all your wisdom, so keep it coming. Okay, I'll give it back to you, Sandra.
Well, we're going to go to the next slide. And this is a passion for me. And I also want to say that perhaps the food that we eat and nutrition is the most highly underutilized tool for healing and cleansing. And in some ways, the absolutely most effective. So that's why we'll have a couple slides right here. So that tomato over on the left was from my garden last year. It's a Cherokee purple. And the reason for this slide is to start looking at the rich colors in the food. And I'll talk about why this is important. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. Many of you probably already know about this, and perhaps some of you do not know the power of micronutrients. So our understanding of the vitamins in food originally was a technology that came out of the 40s and 50s and what science could study in foods. And that's kind of where they came up with the first 17 to 30 to 50 vitamins to put in a pill, in a vitamin pill. By some time in the 90s, science was realizing that there are literally thousands of phytonutrients found in fruits and vegetables, thousands. And while they know that there are that many, they still have only really named and studied maybe a few hundred at this point. So these are macronutrients, are like macronutrients are on the nutrition label as protein, carbohydrates, sugar, blah, 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 fats. Micronutrients, and so macronutrients are like the fuel, the gas that you put in your car. Micronutrients are like the oil that you put in your engine to keep your car from breaking down. That's the simplest way that I can say it. And so this is why you want to be thinking about this for your cleanse, and start to think about what is actually in your cupboards and in your refrigerator, and how you might want to incorporate more of the rainbow diet. So you're welcome, Bernice, in the chat there. So I think go ahead and go to the next slide, Erin. So even though it's about detoxification, I want to point out the colors, because what makes the power of the micronutrients, how do you know if a food has that? The darker the color, the more intense the color, and the more intense the smell, as in garlic and onions, and the way cauliflower smells, even though it's white when you're cooking cauliflower and cabbage. Those are the foods highest in these micronutrients. And so because we're doing a cleanse, I thought it might be good to also have a picture of a variety of foods that detoxify. So you see in the upper right, the allium family is garlic, shallots, onions, leeks, and they play a major role in detoxification and the detoxification pathways of the body. So do cruciferous vegetables, and that's very much a part of helping to detoxify the large intestine, but also it's part of the metabolic pathways in other bodies, metabolic pathways in other ways. Foods rich in flavonoids are another. And so this is part of this idea of having I would challenge everyone who wants nutrition to be one of the tools they're using in this cleanse to start tracking, well, how many servings of nutrient dense fruit or vegetables am I getting in a day? If it's not a leafy vegetable, a serving is a half a cup, like a half a cup of cooked just cauliflower, or a half a cup of mandarin oranges, or a half a cup of radishes. If it's leafy, so parsley, cilantro, dark lettuce, spinach, it's more like a cup. But I challenge you to just see, well, what am I getting? How much nutrition am I getting? Oh, watercress. Yes. I don't even buy watercress. I think it'd be great for me to try it. So next slide, please, Erin. Oh, yes. Today we were talking about, well, how do you eat more vegetables? How do you get them into your body? And just a quick, we'll go into this a lot more, but salads are a way to get a whole lot of vegetable servings at one time. Making up a big pot of soup that's full of vegetables is another way. We talked about turning the oven on, and you season, take a whole head of cauliflower florets, put them in a hot oven, toss them first with maybe salt, pepper, and some olive oil, and just roast them. And all of a sudden you have this big, delicious platter of roasted vegetables. We'll go into this a lot more because there are hacks to make it easier to have those vegetables ready every day in a busy lifestyle. The soup, big pot of soup being one of them. We'll cover this more during the cleanse. Okay, next slide.
One of the things that helped me make this transition is before I would get my fill from rice or bread or pasta. That would be the mainstay of my meal. And then it would be a little salad or a little bit of carrots. But I made this switch a couple of cleanses ago where I went, what if my vegetables were my main carbs? And that then required me to eat a huge plate of broccoli or multiple vegetables. And then the protein was a smaller amount. And then I had some fat. And so it was like a mindset switch for me to go, what if I made vegetables the main part of the meal and the protein or a little bit of rice or a little bit of legumes, what were added onto there. And I just want to say that, we are hearing that there are some food sensitivities and maybe concerns about what types of food you're eating. So absolutely, wherever you are in your diet and what you're learning, I know I've been through many different phases. I did the whole Candida diet for a while. I've done the Whole30, I've done the Zone, so many different things to figure out what works for my body. And we just support you wherever you're at. We're here to be a solutions provider. So please ask questions of the community.
Also, putting our Facebook group is a great place for sharing recipes, sharing all these secrets, all these food hacks, all this food knowledge that I'm sure is in this community right now. And going there even before the cleanse starts and starting talking about what you're thinking about, what you're scared about, what you're unsure about, or what you really want other people to know, and share your knowledge with them. The Facebook group, just start posting there. It's a great place for us all to learn all the knowledge everybody here has as well.
Yeah, we'll start a recipe thread. Like we'll start a thread that is just about food. So everyone can put their recipes and their questions and what they learned throughout the cleanse. Here's a little recipe that I learned during one cleanse. I was cleansing out sugar. So I had no sugar, not even honey, no sugar. So my husband and I discovered that you could take a sweet potato and you could bake it. And then you put it in the refrigerator and you cool it off. And when it's cold, you slice it into rounds. And then you fry it in coconut oil and salt. So delicious. And you have these little crunchy, beautiful sweet potato rounds. And then you put cashew butter and sliced figs on top. Oh my Lord. Oh my goddess. Oh my, so delicious, especially when you haven't had anything sweet. And look at that. That's all phytonutrients. That snack that is just so decadent is all phytonutrients. So we're going to share recipes like this in the Facebook group, and I'm excited to hear what your recipes are. So please put them in the chat right now too. If you know of a snack or a meal or something that has helped you get more phytonutrients and helped you with your inflammation and helped you with your cleansing, put it in the chat, please. Anything else here, Sandra, or should I go to the next slide?
No, I want to make sure we have time for people to discuss. So let's just go to the next one.
We're doing great on time.
I think we are.
Okay. This is me, right?
This is you.
So in case there's anyone here who doesn't know me, my name is Erin Fugate, and I've been using essential oils my whole life, really, since I was 11 years old, but teaching people about essential oils and wellness practices for the past 14 years. My story is such that I am a trauma survivor, unknown trauma survivor, and I was self-medicating with drugs and alcohol and overworking. And I found myself come to a place where I was completely depleted, rashes all over my body, weird headaches. I couldn't walk more than a city block without being in excruciating pain, stomach aches, fatigue, depression, anxiety, you name it. I decided it was time to change my life, and my journey brought me to essential oils and nutrition and cleansing. So it's been quite a process of letting go of these self-medications, as I call them, and finding ways to be at peace in my body. And although I use many, many tools, something I have done for these past 14 years is a cleanse. And actually, when I was in the thick of this sickness and dysfunction, I would cleanse quarterly. So that's just an invitation to you that if you are really struggling with your health and you're ready to make a big change, you might consider doing this quarterly, not just once a year. It's wonderful to have this habit of cleansing things out. And I absolutely love doTERRA's Cleanse and Restore kit for this process. I'm going to tell you about it now and kind of break it down a bit. We will be using the Cleanse and Restore protocol in this cleanse process if you choose. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. If you don't already have a doTERRA account, or you don't have the Cleanse and Restore kit, I would invite you to talk to the person who brought you to this webinar so you can get more information. The QR code on the screen goes to a really cool webpage on doTERRA's website where it talks about gut cleansing. And it goes kind of in detail about all these products and when you use them and how you use them. So if you are a learner, if you have input high in your Clifton Strengths, you're going to want to go to that QR code and digest anymore. I don't have input high in my strengths. So I am going to give you the broad sweeping view for those of you that kind of are more like, tell me what I need to know so that I can get started. This image on the left-hand side is a PDF that we created for you. I would recommend you print it and put it on your refrigerator, because sometimes it can be a little confusing, like what pill do I take when and why? And you're going to want this posted up so you can always remember it. But I've broken it down in the next few slides for each 10 days of the cleanse. So the cleanse starts on April 6th. And the first 10 days of the cleanse, you are going to take the Lifelong Vitality Pack. Now, I hope many of you are already taking the Lifelong Vitality Pack. And if you're not, you can actually start that right now. The Lifelong Vitality Pack is vitamins, nutrients, antioxidants, fish oils. There's even essential oils in there. It's whole food nutrition that's really going to give your body that base foundation. So Sandra was talking about bringing in all those beautiful vegetables, all the broccoli, the cauliflower. You can get some of that from the Lifelong Vitality Pack. And you can even get some fruits and vegetables in the Lifelong Vitality Pack that you can't get anymore in our food. One of the things that's happened and why so many of us are having health issues and we're seeing so many of these degenerative diseases happening to younger and younger people is our food source is lacking. We don't have the same nutrition in our food that we did when we had a beautiful prehistoric apple, when we were hunter and gathering. So that's why it can be so important to bring supplements in. So the first 10 days, you will take your Lifelong Vitality Pack, split up between breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I recommend that the CRS, the Cellular Vitality, that's the purple bottle, that you take that before 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because it can be energizing. It doesn't have caffeine or anything in it, but it has all these beautiful herbs and vitamins and elements that are going to give you extra energy. So if sleep is something you're working to improve, help yourself out by taking the CRS in the morning, not in the afternoon. You're then going to take Terrazyme, that's the digestive enzyme that comes in the kit, one before bed, one immediately when you wake up in the morning, and then one with each meal. My hack for getting this done is I keep my Terrazyme by my bed table, or you can even pre-dispense it in a little bowl with a glass of water. So right before bed you take it, right in the morning you take it. Then you have one with each meal. You can increase the number of Terrazyme you take if you have a lot of inflammation in your body. I will sometimes take 3 Terrazyme with every meal, and it will really help to eat up that inflammation. If you have digestive issues, if you have food sensitivities, you can take more Terrazyme that is suggested in this slide. This is just a baseline. For those first 10 days, you will take 1 Zendracrin complex. The Zendracrin is an essential oil blend in a soft gel, and it's oils like cilantro and rosemary and geranium. These oils are going to detoxify your liver and your kidneys. So you take 1 to 3 a day. 1 would be a good starting point. If you are familiar with this and you know how it feels, you could go up to 3, but I will tell you those oils are strong. They are going to start a detoxification process. So it is better to start slow, work your way up, and of course, drink lots of water. Now, by the same name is the Zendocrine complex. The Zendocrine complex is actually herbs. Contessa is going to tell you more about what's in those herbs. I love this pill. I call it my poop pill. Is there anyone on here that struggles with constipation? I am someone who has struggled with constipation to the point where when I would travel, I would not go to the bathroom the whole time I was on the trip. The Zendocrine helps me to be regular. It helps my pathways of elimination to open up, which is so important when you're cleansing, because as you're cleansing, you're going to start to release toxins. And if your pathways of elimination are not open, then the toxins back up. That's when you can start to see maybe a rash or a headache or fatigue or constipation or digestive issues. So that Zendocrine complex is going to help us make sure that we are eliminating, that we're pooping. So you take 2 of those before you go to bed. Then every glass of water, you are going to put 2 drops of a citrus oil. Lemon is on the slide, but you could also choose tangerine. That's what I like right now. You put your 2 drops in your glass of water and you're going to drink that down. Here's the hack for how much water you need in this cleanse. You should take half your body weight in ounces, and that's how much water you need to drink. So I'm about 170 pounds. So that means that I need, oh gosh, I can't even do math. I hate it when this happens to me. I think I need like 80 ounces, 80 to 100 ounces a day of water to make sure I'm properly flushing. So that's our first 10 days. And we're going to ping you on this in the Facebook group. You will know what the start is, but you could also mark it in your calendar, April 6th through the 15th. You're going to do this baseline. And this is really the preparing. You're preparing your body to have the right nutrition and for those pathways of elimination to be open. And you're starting a little bit of the cleansing process with the Lifelong Vitality Pack and the Zendocrine. Then we come to April 16th through the 24th. This is our second 10-day period. You're still doing the Lifelong Vitality Pack the same way. You're still doing the Terrazyme the same way. Now you're going to add GX Assist. GX Assist is a formulation of oregano essential oil, caprylic acid. We've got lemon essential oil and a few other powerful essential oils in there that have an anti-candida effect, anti-parasitic effect. This basically is going to kill things in your gut that you don't want to be there. It can be intense. This is the more intense part of the cleanse. So if this is your first time cleansing, just do 1 GX Assist a day. You can work up to 3, but honestly, in 14 years, I rarely do 3 a day. You have to watch how it goes with you. You have to see how your body feels. Start out small, but you can go up to 3 a day. And when to take those? I take them with meals. Some people like to take it before bed. Sometimes there is some digestive discomfort with that killing process. So I like to time it when I'm by a bathroom, when I'm able to rest, I'm at home, things like that. You're still going to take your Zendocrine complex, that's the herbal blend, but not the Zendocrine oil anymore. And of course, you're going to still drink your water with your citrus oils in it. Now we come to the last 10 days of the cleanse. This is you've fortified your body. You've killed things in your gut that don't want to be there. Now we're going to restore. This is the restore part of the cleanse and restore. So you're still taking your Lifelong Vitality Pack. You're still taking your Terrazyme. Now you're going to add in a probiotic. And doTERRA's probiotic is PB Assist. You can do 1 to 3 a day. It's gentle. I don't see any reason why you can't take 3 a day, but start off slow to just see how your body responds. You're still going to take the Zendocrine complex. You are not taking the GX Assist. You are not taking the Zendocrine oil. You're going to add in DDR Prime. DDR Prime is an incredible formulation of essential oils that actually protect your cells. Not only do they protect your cells, but if you have any cells in your body that need to be released, these oils induce programmed cellular death. Why is this so important? Well, first of all, when we have healthy cells, we have healthy organs, we have a healthy body. But can you think of something that is created in the body by having a damaged, unhealthy cell that then replicates and turns more and more cells into unhealthy and damaged? I can think of a few things. So if there was a supplement or a pill or an oil that I could take that not only protected the healthy cell, but also had the unhealthy cell die and stopped cell to cell communication so that I could have a complete cellular makeover, I would want to take that, right? That's DDR prime. It's incredible. You can take 1, 2, 3 a day. And if anyone on here suffers from chronic pain like fibromyalgia or back pain or phantom pains, DDR prime can be taken at any time to help with that. It's an excellent formulation. And then, of course, let's all take a water break. If you have your water in front of you, we are going to keep drinking our water throughout this cleanse. Even if you're not taking the herbs and oils, getting that water with the citrus in it is so helpful. We will have a Q&A at the end of this, but I'm just going to check to see, maybe Sandra, if there's any important questions, you could answer it in the chat.
There's lots of questions.
Do that at the end in a Q&A.
And they're great questions. Somebody wants to know if they can use DDR prime in a veggie cap instead of buying the soft gels. There's questions about MetaPower Assist at the same time as Terrazyme. There are so many. I think not only will they be answered in the group, but if we are getting close to the end of this webinar, we'll have time to cover a lot of this. Even we'll stay past the hour for those who can also stay, and we'll cover a lot of this.
We will, absolutely. So one thing that often comes up is it can be hard to remember to take these pills. It can be hard to remember to drink your water. It's hard to start a new habit. So we wanted to give you a few hacks and tips about organizing your supplies and being successful. One thing that's not on this slide, but I really want to point out to all of us, is the process of habit stacking. So habit stacking, when you're trying to bring in a new habit, if you stack that new habit on with a well-established habit, you will be more successful. So for me, I have a very well-established habit. It's called drinking coffee in the morning. I do not go a day. I will not be letting go of coffee in this cleanse. I love my coffee so much. It is a ritual. It's something I do without fail. So I put my water station right next to my coffee pot. I put my oils that I'm going to use in my water right next to my coffee pot. And I line out all my supplements in little jars right next to my water and my coffee pot. So it triggers my mind, oh, you need to do this right when you do all of this. Now, there's a lot of supplements that you might be taking in this cleanse. And if you work, and even if you're at home, you're going to want a way to organize that so it's easy to grab. My favorite hack is to buy a silicone ice tray container with a lid. You can organize all your supplements for the day or the week, and you can put it in your bag or your purse and they won't spill and get all confused. My water drinking hack is that's a lot of water for me to get in. If I'm trying to get 80 ounces of water a day, I have decided that's about 3 quarts, mostly because it's easy for me to wake up in the morning, fill a quart size mason jar, put my oils in it and drink it down. Then I refill it and I drink that before lunch. And then I refill it one more time and I drink that before dinner. That's how I know I get my water, 3 quart size mason jars. So I wanted to give you that hack. You probably have a quart size mason jar at your home, or you can buy them at all sorts of stores. Then never leave home without your oils. We are going to talk in just a moment about oils that might help you in this cleanse. We'll have more discussion about that in the Facebook group. Throw those oils into a little oil bag and make sure it's in your cart or your purse so you're always prepared. Are there any hacks that I'm forgetting that you would like to add, Sandra or Contessa here?
Well, this comes up a lot. You might have covered it because I was really deep into answering some stuff on the chat, but there are people who have a very difficult time consistently taking their supplements because they don't like doing it anyway. And then they start spacing it out and then they feel like they're not participating in the cleanse. And I think you were explaining about how to use those containers. If it's out on the counter, did you talk about all that already?
Yeah, so I was just
Yeah.
saying, like, the habit stacking concept, organize all your supplements in these containers and put it on your counter where you can see it next to something that you already do every day. For me,
Yes.
coffee. For someone else, it might be feeding your dog. For someone else, it might be brushing your teeth.
There's also another hack, which is people that are on the go. If you have little containers that you can drop into your purse or your bag, and you already know you're going to be gone for 8 or 9 or 10 hours that day, to put the midday and evening group of supplements into little containers and have it in your purse so that you don't sit down in a restaurant and go, oh, shoot, I don't have my supplements with me. So it's just, I don't know how to describe habit stacking it. Maybe have the little containers right by the ice trays with the lids, or having them by your purse so you remember and go, oh. But that's a way to be more consistent throughout the day.
We were talking about when we were kind of building out this cleanse that we really wanted. Cleansing can often be like too much, overwhelming. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be emotional times. We can easily start to get into a mindset where we talk badly to ourselves because we haven't been either preparing enough, organized enough, consistent enough, and attaching your habits to something pleasurable. And thinking about this cleanse as not only a cleanse and all the things we're going to clear out and take away, but also as a celebration of what we're bringing in and restoring. So attaching your habits to things that are already pleasurable and that you're not going to miss in your day, like the coffee, Erin. Putting on your makeup. Are you somebody who puts on makeup every day? That's your time for yourself. Is it your time for yourself picking up a book and reading a paragraph? Something that you do that brings you pleasure, and attach your new habits to one of those activities.
Yeah, that's great advice. And we're all here to support you. If you fall off, it's okay. Just start again. So I'm going to turn it over to you now, Contessa.
So as we are all figuring out how we want to go about our cleanses, what we want to incorporate, what we have the capacity to incorporate, all the changes we want to make. One of the things that's very important to me, and also obviously to doTERRA and the products that we're using from doTERRA, is plant medicine. And so considering herbs for your cleanse, and herbs have been used in cleanses, I think, since the beginning of cleanses. And doTERRA already has, if you are using the cleanse and restore and taking LLV, you will already be incorporating herbs into your cleanse. They are in the cleanse and restore kit. On the left of the screen, we have rhubarb, osha root, clove of flower, and burdock root. Those are just some of the herbs that are involved in the Zendocrine complex. And we will be having one of our sessions that I'll be leading is some astroherbology in the middle of the cleanse. And we'll be learning much more about the stories of these plants and these herbs and how they are affecting us. I really love when you know why the things you're taking are working for you. It somehow makes the medicine even stronger. So we're going to talk way more about that in the cleanse, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about why you would want to consider inserting even more herbs into your cleanse as you're supporting habit substitutes, such as if you are getting rid of or considering getting rid of coffee, sugar, dairy, herbals can be a really nice habit substitute so that you don't totally have to give up that ritual. We really want to create more rituals in our lives as we're doing this. So it's a great one. Dandelion root is a great one for if you are looking for something nice and hot in the morning that is not coffee, and that would be actually helping your liver and cleansing your liver out. Dandelion root. If you don't know, if you get some fresh dandelion roots, pulling them up from a yard that has not been chemically treated, if you roast dandelion roots in your oven, your house will smell like chocolate chip cookies. It doesn't taste like chocolate chip cookies, but it doesn't taste bad either. It's actually a really lovely taste. And so it's a great replacement for coffee in the morning and can be really great for your liver. Lemon balm is one of my favorite, as the weather is turning, herbs to use in a cold infusion. So just getting either some fresh lemon balm in cold water and letting it sit for 2 to 4 hours makes a beautiful sipping water if you're looking for water that needs to be a little bit more exciting in order for you to drink and get all of your hydration in. And there's many, many herbs we can go through and we can suggest beyond what you would be taking in the LLV and the Cleanse and Restore kit. But herbs and taking herbs is also so beautiful if you have organs, or I know I'm cleansing more on an emotional level this cleanse. And so I am definitely looking toward the plant kingdom to help me download some plant intelligence and support that I need from our plant and our natural community. And I love taking, it's also like a habit substitute as far as emotions. Like sometimes when we're feeling a certain way and we feel like we might go toward diet or a bad habit in order to deal with that emotion, herbs, just like the oils, can be a beautiful friend in helping you through that. And then lastly, herbs help you find plant allies in your life. And as we're cleansing in the springtime, we are waking up along with our plant allies, our creature allies out there in the natural world. And it's such a beautiful practice I use this time of the year to kind of search for my new plant teacher. I work with plants all year long, and I usually add a plant teacher or 3 every year. And so the springtime, and while we cleanse, we can really depend on our plant medicine. And exploring herbs are also great for like exploring them in multi different ways, drinking them, eating them, incorporating them into rituals, burning them. There's so many different ways you can use herbs in your cleanse. So just something to consider. And if you have been considering, like you've heard something on the internet or something like ashwagandha has really like piqued your interest, or you're very curious about it, that's usually a sign from the plant that they are asking for you to reach out and start to participate with them. So if you had something, if you've had a plant reach out, or maybe as you're walking about and things are starting to bloom and something calls to you, it's kind of great to pay attention to that little voice and start to do a little bit more research and see how you could incorporate that herb or that plant into your cleanse. So next slide. So then also, we've been talking about all the supplementation, all the food, and we go back to our oils and why essential oils. And one of the things we talked about before this call was this idea that we're all here to somehow up level or better the way we feel and the way we're walking on this earth. And as we are in this springtime and we are going from full moon to full moon, we will be growing and birthing and detoxifying all together. and we'll all be on different journeys and different roads at different levels. But we all know how we feel right now in our bodies. And we all know how it feels when we do something so good for us that you reach a new way of living in your body that you've never felt before. And once you feel that for the first time, it's very difficult to go back. And so my hope for all of us is that during this cleanse, we go through something where you start to feel an up level in the way you feel. And so even after the cleanse ends, you won't be able to go back to those bad habits or that thing that made you feel less than that. And essential oils are such a beautiful tool for that. And ever since essential oils have come into my life, from my spirituality to my emotional health, to my mental well-being, to my physical body, everything has changed where I cannot go back to thriving on this earth without them. And the picture here of smelling the roses and it hitting the olfactory bulbs in the brain, those are the turquoise little bulbs you see at the top of the nose. When you just smell the scent of a rose and you smell the scent of geranium or juniper berry or rosemary, it is so, so important and close to the olfactory brings in the scent, and it directly affects your emotional system. It's so close to the brain, and aromatics are so important to affecting us emotionally. And then emotionally affects the way we feel, and the way we feel affects our thoughts. And then our thoughts affect how our body functions and how we talk to ourselves and how we communicate and how our body communicates with us. So keeping your essential oils close by, and even if you're doing this cleanse and the only thing you are doing is taking a drop of lemon in your water every day, a commitment to just that is a major up level, and probably something you'll never want to feel anything else but the up level of doing that one tiny change. So the oils listed to the left, I believe, well, let me look real quick. Frankincense is in the LLV. Geranium, juniper berry, tangerine, and cilantro are in your Zendocrine blends. And then other oils that you might want to go to or talk about with people who invited you to this cleanse. And we can also talk about it more in the chat, or that would be great actually right now. If you know what oils you want to focus on during this cleanse, it can be really nice to have that focus before you start. Make sure you have those oils before the 6th. But some ones we suggest on a cleanse, because you will be most likely experiencing some symptoms and side effects of detoxing. Digestin can be really helpful for digestion, upset stomach, any nausea, or helping digest food you're not used to. Serenity for calming down at night, for balancing yourself, for bringing about calm. My favorite, I don't know how I would live without the Balance blend. I use that on the back of my neck to help bring my nervous system back into balance. Past Tense is a beautiful blend for joint pain, headaches, just regular, any tension in the body, anytime you're feeling pain or uncomfortableness from any sort of tension. And the new beautiful blend of Adaptive. Having these in your kit, having that kit that you can bring around with you, maybe in tinier bottles, not full 15 milliliter, and have with you at all times. But let us know the lists of things that you like to use, especially when you're going through times of change. Okay, we can go on to the next slide. So we have a packed cleanse, and I know it's been a lot of information already, And we're just going to go over kind of our schedule, how we're going to do this, how we're going to let you guys know what's going on, when it's going on. So you don't have to, you know where to go to get all of your information. Sandra is going to be doing some Zooms and check-ins, chats and Q&As before the cleanse actually begins, because we know we have a bazillion questions. And so Sandra is offering Zooms on Saturday, March 25th about general cleanse and preparation. So a lot of the questions you had earlier in the chat, you will be able to ask those and get answers for those much more in depth on a March 25th call. And then she'll also be doing one on April 1st, Power Food, and on Thursday, April 27th. By that time, we'll be pretty far into the cleanse, but it's also where symptoms as well as changes, there's a lot of things that will be popping up as we're all getting to that point in the cleanse. So she's offering another one then, a general cleanse support. So these will all be on Zooms. For the rest of our cleanse, everything else is going to be on a Facebook Live. So there's just going to be 2 places to go when you're doing or going somewhere to get information from us. So there's going to be 2 other Zooms during the month. And you will get the information for these as we get closer. So on April 20th, we're going to be on the 2nd Aries new moon of April, in April. There's 2 Aries new moons in a row, which is pretty spectacular. And we're going to have a sound healing with Sarah Barba. And then we'll also have a Zoom on May 5th, which will be the conclusion of our cleanse, and another full flower moon with a sound healing with Michelle Kurtz. So those are all going to be Zooms.
I want to just really quickly, Erin is going to upload the Facebook Lives so that people can access them on YouTube if they're not in Facebook or don't use Facebook.
Oh,
So
great.
some of that will be available, a lot of it will be available with the YouTube link right here. So
Right.
you're not missing out if you're not on Facebook.
Great. Yeah, can we go back to that calendar? So this is pretty much our calendar for the month of the cleanse. This calendar starts with April 1st so that you can see Sandra's Power of Food Medicine starting off the month there, but that our cleanse actually begins on Thursday, the 6th, on the full moon, full pink moon. And we have so many practitioners. We have people giving weekly offerings, which is so great. So your Sundays can be journaling and oracle readings. Your Wednesdays are with Asha, meditation and breath work. Ariana is doing poetry for cleansing on Fridays. I'll be offering cleansing movement on Saturdays. And then Erin will be offering bone broth, celery seed oil, and then moon magic rituals. So we just have like a packed calendar. Almost every day we have something going on. And so you can either join us on the Facebook Lives, which would be most amazing. And then if you miss it, we'll have everything downloaded onto the YouTube channel. So you won't miss a thing. We're going to post this calendar in many different ways in many different areas so that you will know what's going on. And we'll also be updating you every day on the Facebook page of what will be happening that day of the cleanse.
I put this in the chat and I just want to also say to anyone who's like, that's overwhelming, I can't come to everything. This is not meant for you to come to everything. This is just for you to stay connected. So pick and choose. It's kind of like you're going to a cleanse festival.
Yeah.
All these things going on. And if it serves you, tune in. If not, don't worry about it.
Great. So moving onward, again, the Facebook is your best friend. That's us holding out our hand to you. So please, if you haven't joined the Facebook group, we have around 180 people doing this cleanse together. And so please, if you haven't joined the Facebook group, that's where it's all going down. So there you'll get the reminders, you'll get scheduled Facebook Lives will be happening on that page. Check in, post your personal updates. Daily moon forecasts will be there every morning, so you know what parts of the body the moon will be affecting. We have playlists, we have inspiration and protocols. You can ask questions there. And then of course, your calendar reminders and daily and weekly offerings will all be happening there. And then if you missed that or you're not on Facebook, all of those Facebook Lives and a lot of information, the Zooms will go up on the YouTube channel. So if you want to take a quick pic with your phone, in case you don't know where to find these links after this Zoom is over, please take a quick pic or write these down. And these are the two portals.
And I'll send out an email with the recording of this webinar and include the links and all of the things. So hopefully everyone will be well informed. Okay, should we turn it over to Sandra to close the webinar?
Yes, I just want to say in closing that this is the time to really ask yourself what will be in your medicine basket, and that to also perhaps look at how open are you to receiving, because our community is a safe and nurturing container for you to have support at whatever level or whatever topic you feel you need it for. And so this was a lot of information. There's a lot going on. And I just want to come back to the most important thing is what your priorities are and how you want to embark on this journey. And I also, besides being open to receive, to also let yourself use this time between now and April 6th to get ready in a way that's really authentic to you, so that you don't hit April 6th in a panic getting together what you think you need, but rather to ease into it. So this time perhaps is the most important time of the cleanse between now and April 6th. And we're here to support you, as we've already said a number of times.
Thank you, Sandra. So at this point, I'm going to stop the recording, but we are going to hang out for a little Q&A if there's anything you would like to ask. So excited. Thank you everyone for participating, and let's start cleansing.